What if scientists tried to save a massive Antarctic glacier by building an underwater curtain nearly 80 kilometers long? It sounds like science fiction, but this is a real scientific idea being studied today. Deep beneath the freezing waters of West Antarctica, warm ocean water is attacking one of the most important glaciers on Earth. This glacier is called Thwaites Glacier, and because of its potential impact on global sea levels, many people call it the Doomsday Glacier. But can a giant underwater curtain really slow down the melting of an entire glacier? And what would happen if this glacier eventually collapsed? To understand the answer, we first need to look beneath the ice. Thwaites Glacier is located in West Antarctica. It is one of the widest glaciers on Earth, stretching roughly 120 kilometers across. But the biggest danger is not only the ice we can see. The real problem is happening underneath. Warm ocean water is flowing beneath the floating ice shelf and attacking the glacier from below. As the ice melts, the glacier becomes more unstable. And when a glacier this massive begins to retreat, the consequences can spread far beyond Antarctica. The Thwaites Glacier itself contains enough ice to eventually contribute about 65 centimeters of global sea level rise if it were to completely melt. But the bigger concern is what could happen to the much larger ice sheet behind it. The enemy is warm water. But this is not warm water like the water in a swimming pool. In Antarctica, even water that feels extremely cold to humans can still be warm enough to melt ice. This relatively warm, deep ocean water can travel toward the glacier beneath the floating ice shelf. When it reaches the bottom of the ice, it causes melting from below. And that creates a dangerous problem. The ice shelf acts like a giant brake. It helps slow down the movement of the glacier behind it. But as the ice shelf becomes thinner, that natural brake becomes weaker. The glacier can then move faster toward the ocean, and more ice can be lost. So scientists asked a radical question. What if we could stop the warm water before it reaches the glacier? The proposed solution is an enormous flexible curtain anchored to the seabed. The idea is not to build a solid concrete wall across the entire ocean. Instead, the curtain would hang from the ocean floor and act as a barrier. The proposed structure could be around 80 kilometers long and up to 150 meters high. It would be anchored deep beneath the ocean. The goal would be to redirect or reduce the flow of warm water reaching the vulnerable parts of the glacier. In simple terms, the curtain would try to protect the glacier from the water, melting it from below. Imagine a huge underwater curtain hanging from the seabed. It would not completely block the ocean. Instead, it could reduce the amount of warm, deep water reaching the glacier. The curtain could redirect water toward other areas. If less warm water reaches the base of the ice shelf, the melting process could slow down. And if the ice shelf becomes stronger, it could provide more support to the glacier behind it. Scientists believe this could potentially buy valuable time, not just years, possibly decades or even longer. But this is not a simple engineering project. The curtain would have to survive powerful ocean currents, icebergs, extreme weather, and the harshest environment on Earth. Building an 80-kilometer structure in Antarctica would be an incredible challenge. The ocean floor is hundreds of meters below the surface. Icebergs can be enormous. The weather can change rapidly, and the working season is extremely short. Engineers would also have to ask some very difficult questions. What happens if an iceberg hits the curtain? Can the structure be repaired? Could it accidentally damage marine ecosystems? And what happens if the water simply finds another path around it? These questions are why the project is still being studied. The curtain is not currently a finished solution. It is a massive scientific and engineering experiment that would require years of research and testing. There is another huge problem: the cost. Earlier feasibility studies estimated that a large curtain system could cost tens of billions of dollars to build, plus significant ongoing maintenance costs. That is an enormous amount of money. But supporters of the idea argue that the cost of protecting the world's coastlines from future sea level rise could be far greater. The real question is not simply, can humans build it? The bigger question is, should humans try? Because once humanity begins altering one of the most remote environments on Earth, the consequences could be impossible to predict. Some scientists see the underwater curtain as a possible last resort solution. Others warn that geoengineering projects could create new problems. The ocean is an incredibly complex system. If you block water in one place, it could change currents somewhere else. Marine animals could be affected, and there's no guarantee that the curtain would stop the glacier from melting completely. Even the scientists studying the idea emphasize that more research is needed. The project is not a magic solution to climate change. It would only try to slow one of the consequences. The real long-term solution remains reducing the warming of the planet. If Thwaites Glacier were to completely melt, it could eventually contribute around 65 centimeters to global sea level rise. That would be enough to dramatically increase risks for coastal communities around the world. But scientists are especially concerned about a chain reaction. Thwaites may act as a kind of barrier for other ice behind it. If it retreats significantly, the larger West Antarctic ice sheet could become more vulnerable. That is why this single glacier has attracted so much scientific attention. It is not just about one piece of ice. It is about the future of an entire region. An 80-kilometer underwater curtain sounds impossible. But human history is full of projects that once sounded impossible. We have built tunnels beneath oceans. We have constructed bridges across enormous distances. We have sent machines to other planets. Now, scientists are asking whether humanity can build something massive enough to protect a glacier from the ocean itself. But the biggest question remains. Will the underwater curtain ever be built? Or will climate change become too powerful for engineering to stop? One thing is certain. The future of Antarctica may affect every coastline on Earth and beneath the frozen surface of the world's coldest continent. A battle between ice, ocean, and human engineering may already be beginning. What do you think? Could an 80-kilometer underwater curtain really save the Doomsday Glacier? Let us know in the comments. And subscribe to the World Chronicles for more incredible stories about our planet, science, and the mysteries of the world.